everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess and I love doing DIY, making clothes in a simply but free way. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how I make my A-line mini skirt. This skirt is one piece of my blazer suit that I shared with you last week. I think that one of you guys might want to know how I make this skirt after watching my video last week. So here you are. I hope you like this DIY and check it out. And let's get started. The first step is making the pattern for the skirt. To make the front pattern, I fold the paper in half first. From the folding line, I draw a horizontal line. It will be the waistline of the skirt. From this line, I draw another one 32 centimeters from it. It's a quarter of my hip size. It will be the hip line of the skirt. On the waistline, I mark out 19 centimeters from the folding line. It's a quarter of my waist size plus 3 centimeters for the dart I will make there later. On the hip line, I mark out 23.5 centimeters from the folding line. It's a quarter of my hip size plus a half centimeter. Then I connect two marks together. From the waistline, I keep drawing another horizontal line at 40 centimeters from it. It's the length of the skirt that I want, minus 3 centimeters the width of the waistband I will make later. This horizontal line will cut the line I drew before that, and you will have the side line of the skirt. From the end of the side line, I mark up 1 centimeter, then connect this mark to the other end of the folding line to finish the ending line of the skirt. Make it a big curve to make the ending line nicer. At the top of the folding line, I mark down 1 centimeter, then connecting this mark to the top of the side line to finish the waistline for the front pattern. Make it a big curve to make the waistline nicer. I add 1 centimeter seam allowance outside the drawing lines, except 3 centimeters for the ending line of the skirt. And you will have the front pattern of the skirt after cutting. To make the back pattern, I base on the front pattern without seam allowance. I move the side line of the back pattern 1 centimeter from the current one because the bust at the back of the skirt. At the end of the new side line, I mark up 1 centimeter first, then connect it to the other end of the folding line by a slightly curved line to finish the ending line of the back pattern. I also make a slightly curved line at the top of the waistline as well. Then I add seam allowance similar to the front pattern. And you will have the back pattern of the skirt after cutting. Now, let's start making this skirt. I use a half meter of cotton khaki fabric for this DIY and a half meter of lining fabric. You will need 1 piece of the front pattern and 1 piece of the back pattern in the main fabric and in the lining fabric. Remember, the lining fabric will be 4 centimeters shorter than the main one. To make the dart at the waistline, I make it on the pattern first. From the folding line, I mark at the middle first, then drawing a line go through that mark. The length of this line will be 10 centimeters for the front and 14 centimeters for the back. After that, I make 2 marks outside of the first one on the waistline. The width between 2 marks will be the length of the waistline minus a quarter of your waist size. So when you finish the dart, the final length of the waistline at each piece will be a half of your waist size. After that, I mark the position of the dart on the fabric, then sew it. After that, I connect the main fabric and the lining fabric at the end of the skirt. Now I'm connecting the zipper to the main fabric of the skirt first. After that, I connect it to the lining fabric. This seam doesn't have to be right as the previous one, it just needs to connect together. After sewing, I turn the lining inside out to hide on the seam inside. Then connect the waistline of the main fabric and the lining fabric together. To make the waistband, I cut a long rectangle with 8 cm width, which is 2 times the width of the waistband that I want, plus 2 cm for seam allowance, and 70 cm length, which is 6 cm longer than my waist size for seam allowance and the button area later. I connect one length line of the rectangle to the waist lines and make the first seam. After that, I fold the other length line of the rectangle inside 1 cm first, then keep folding over the first seam and make the second seam. After sewing, don't forget to put the button and make the buttonhole at the extra of the waistband. And I finished this DIY. Here's my final result. This skirt is very comfortable and suitable for any occasion. I hope you like it and try it out. See you next week.